Hello and welcome to Jazz After Dark. How you doing out there? Today we're going to talk about 4 retirement saving strategies for Gen X. Now, technically, I'm a millennial. Technically, I do not identify as a millennial. I hate that I'm in that crowd. I'm on the edge. I'm on the upper edge of that. But, technically I made the cutoff and I'm a millennial, which, funny enough, if you don't know anything about me, my daughter is also a millennial. What's that tell you? Huh? No, I'm not a millennial. I won't call myself that. Hey, we do hang out here, have a drink while we talk about some new stuff. Tonight we're going to talk about 4 retirement saving strategies for Gen X, not the millennials. And we've got Starward Nova single malt whiskey here. I love that this starts with, it says, a strong hint of fruit, red berries, and spice. That sounds right up my alley. So Starward Nova here. Oh my God. Yeah. You got fruit. I don't know about maybe red berries. The spice. My God. Tropical fruits, sweetness. Yes. Have I had this? No, I'm thinking bear face or something. Double thumbs up. Starward Nova. My goodness. All right. By the way, if you've never seen it, we might have a coupon code with these people. I don't know, but we don't get anything for it. They send you these little vials. You can just try a few and sample them, see what you like. They give you these cool little cards. I like it because it's better than going out and buying something and finding out you don't like it. Anyways, so let's dive into it here. All right, Gen X, what you got going on here? How do we come up with something, right? We need a good strategy here. Something more than just the basics here. So first thing we're going to start off with is use your IRA and your Roth IRA contributions more perfectly, efficiently. I don't know how else to say it there. It's not enough just to say max it out. I pointed that out in another video I did. When, you can put so much into this, or catch up, or blah, 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 whatever you're doing. Yeah, that's like general information. I want to know how many dollars should go into each, or if they should go into each. Should I be using all of one, all of the other, or some combination of both? And if so, how do we know that it's 65% in this one, the rest in the other one, 22%, the rest over here? Like, how do we know what that number is? Here's a good example. Maybe, you go through your year almost, let's say, and you're putting money in your 401k. And just out of habit, you put some money into an IRA. And your effective tax rate maybe went from 19% down to, I'm going to use an extreme here and say 9%, right? Just to really spread this out. Okay. Well, as you're doing that, if you've already gotten your effective tax rate lower, or you've lowered yourself into, let's say, the 12% bracket, well, then take the rest of the money, if you were going to save more, and put it in the Roth, right? Pay less tax. You're paying tax up front, but get it out of the way and put it in the Roth. Don't just keep putting into the 401k and the IRA because you're like, well, I'm saving more and more. No, as your effective tax rate comes down, on a percentage basis, yes, you're saving less, but on a dollar basis, you would have been better off just putting that sucker into the Roth. What's the average gains in the market every year? Well, if your effective tax rate is lower than that, right? Should we just be putting money in the Roth? So when we say, IRA, Roth IRA, and all that, maybe you're using a SEP or a simple or something. Okay, fine. All of those have Roth options as well now, thanks to the Secure Act. Let's figure out which of the, $6,000 you may save in an IRA. Does it all go in the IRA, or should $4,500 go in the IRA? And then let's squeeze some in the Roth, because we don't want to get to retirement, seriously, and find out all your money is pre-tax. It's not a lot you can do about that, right? It gets really tricky. You start worrying about maybe you do conversions, but you got issues with that. Social Security tax, the IRMA surcharge. It's like, ooh, what do we do? So consider that. Get someone to help you with that. I'm sure there's an online calculator somewhere. There's got to be. But try to get some help with that. Otherwise, these guys, right? Number 2, don't ignore that HSA. It's not the most glamorous thing ever. There's a lot going on here. If you have a high deductible plan at work, you are HSA eligible. They always say, if you read an article, I'm sure there's articles that say the triple tax advantage. The hell does that mean? Well, it means that you put money in, you get a tax deduction, and it doesn't matter how much income you make, by the way. As it grows tax-free. You invest that money. By the way, your HSA always gets invested as aggressively as possible, right? Good. Why is that? Thank you for asking. It's because it's usually the smallest of your accounts. Take the risk in that small account, and it has no tax. Let's get as much growth as we can. Let's not sit in dividend stocks. Let's get as much growth as we can. We're not paying tax on it. The final part of that triple tax advantage is when you take it out, at least before age 65, for qualified medical reasons, you end up having no tax on that as well. Here's the catch. It's a retroactive account. So let's say this year you put in $3,000. Next year, the value grows to $3,500 and you put in $3,500. All right, fine. You had medical expenses in the year prior, but you chose not to reimburse yourself. Next year goes by. You had, I don't know, contacts or whatever, or you had a surgery, I don't know. And now the account's $10,000. In that year, you decide, I'd like to spend $5,000 to go to Disney World. Is that even enough anymore? I don't know, but let's say you've decided to do that. You can say, I'd like to reimburse myself $5,000 for that surgery I had a year ago or whatever year it was. And yeah, but then when the money comes out, you're not actually paying that surgery bill because you already did. Go spend it on Disney World. And this is not me just coming up with wild things to do. You are 100% allowed to do that. So add up those medical expenses over the years. You can reimburse yourself tax-free. You could also say, I'm going to take that money out and put it in my Roth IRA. As long as you had income on paper, right? You got to have income. But there's all kinds of cool things you can do with the HSA. And when you turn 65, you could just treat it as an IRA and take money out without a medical exception. I would advise you to still reimburse yourself for the medical issues you may have had, as long as you have receipts to back them up. Because if you take the money out and treat it like an IRA, of course, it's taxable, right? So we want to use that. That account right there is one of the more interesting accounts that gets overlooked all the time. And respectfully, I think it's because you won't save your medical receipts and you're not sure what you can reimburse yourself for. We've done HSA videos on that. Feel free to check it out. All right, the third thing, if you have debt with an interest rate of over 10%, it should be prioritized versus retirement savings. Think of it like a balance sheet. Your life is a financial balance sheet. If you have $10,000 in debt that's 22% interest, a credit card, let's say, good for you if it's 22%, right? They're sky high these days. So we say, all right, I got $10,000 in debt, 22% interest rate. I've got $10,000 in a brokerage account in some dividend stock earning me 6% a year. You see the trouble there, right? On a balance sheet, you are not a healthy company. We've got problems. We've got more money going out to debt than we do income coming in. Now, that's an extremely simple example, but you get what I'm saying there. If your debt is greater than the money that you're earning on, we don't need to be putting more money over here. We need to be paying off that debt. Okay. And I'm not a zero debt proponent kind of guy here. If you can handle the debt and you're okay with it, fine, but not at 22%, right? If you're not making something close to that, well, you probably talk about that just a little bit. We've even had examples where, now this is a unique situation, but the client said, I can't stand my credit cards. I think it was like $12,000 in credit card debt. He took a loan from his 401k. Ooh, I'm not sure any advisor is going to tell you that, but it was a 7% loan. The interest gets paid back to him, not some bank. And he got to take the $12,000, pay off the $22,000, then make payments towards the 401k at 7%. He paid it off early. Good for him. I'm not saying that's a great example. It was just an example. If you're worried about losing your job, of course, there's some trouble. There could be troubles there. So each person's unique, but that's just a way to give you an example of prioritizing your debt that has a higher interest rate than probably the returns you're going to make elsewhere. They have their pros and cons, right? Okay, and number 4, catch-up contributions. I've mentioned this numerous times because there's a lot of changes to the catch-up contributions. We got the super catch-up now, the regular catch-up, all the limits have been increased. It's not just about saving more money. Catching up, the way they word that makes you feel like, well, great, good, thank you for allowing me to save more money. No, there's a tax strategy there too. If we can get your tax bill down and you're catching up, well, just where's the number? That's all we got to figure out is what that number is. But it's not just about you taking more money and putting it in because the government says you're allowed to. No, does it benefit you? It may not. The answer could be, maybe you're working with us, you're a client, or you're thinking about it. We're nice people. Okay, if the answer is no, then don't do it, right? But if the answer is yes, you can play catch up because you're way behind, okay, fine. If the answer is yes, you can play catch up because you're behind, but oh, wait a minute, we figured out the amount and we know you can do that amount, and this will actually help you save more on taxes than you were going to pay in the first place. Oh, how do you not get excited about that? Those are my favorites there. I like hearing things like that. I'll give you a bonus one here. Um, Not about a strategy or anything, but just keep in mind that most people, and we have thousands of clients all over the country and actually the world now. So most people don't just retire and do nothing. Very few. And we get to watch every day. We have people that are retiring. Most people go, now, the guy with the jet skis. I always tease the guy with the jet skis because I won't say his name. I don't know if he cares if I say his name, but he literally retires and for about a week did nothing, just random stuff around the house. And after that, he goes, I've always wanted to be outside. I've spent my life in a cubicle, whatever. He's local. He goes down to, it's called John's Pass. He goes down there, finds this jet ski rental company, and he goes to work for them part-time, right? Just renting jet skis to tourists. He loves it, right? I have another guy who was in the corporate world, and now he's retired, but he works for Southwest loading bags on the planes. And he just thinks that's the most exciting thing ever. He works like 12 hours a week. It's not much. But most people find a passion project. They go try things that they always wanted to do, but they couldn't because their job paid them too much. And so they stuck with that. Or maybe it's just part-time work, greeting people at Walmart. That's a really simple example. Just know that if you're planning out your retirement, don't have a hard cutoff date in the beginning. Certainly, you might say by 75, not sure I'm going to be moving around as much or interested in, maybe I want to go be more with family or something. There should be some period of time. But if you're retiring at 60, from like 60 to 75, you're going to have some level of income. A lot of people trade the markets and always wanted to do that or sell covered calls or whatever. It's fine. There's a lot of examples. So just keep that in mind as a potential strategy is to add in a little bit of income there. All right. We covered it. Thank you for watching and putting up with me here. I feel like I talked a little faster on that one, but that could be because of our star word here. But we'll be back again, of course, to do this all over. Hope you're enjoying. Please do not leave comments calling me a millennial in the comment section. I will fight back. I'm just kidding. All right. Enjoy. Thank you. Have a good day.